Did we luck out or what? This is like 2 days in a row. It is partly cloudy. As you see, it's not all sunshine. Definitely a lot of clouds. I really thought it was going to be raining today because it was all foggy and gray this morning till at least an hour ago. So this just cleared up just a little while ago. We've got like 20% chance of rain today, and 20% chance, and 10% tomorrow and the next day, and Saturday night or Sunday night, it's supposed to go down in the 40s. Now this is what I'm talking about, huh? This is why we live in Florida. Right here. Oh, I was gonna lay down. I was gonna set up the studio inside. And Bongo came up and was laying with me, and she's purring so loud. She really does like to cuddle, that cat. She'll come right up, alongside your chest. Just lay her head like right on your shoulder. And I guess it makes a difference if you get them when they're small like that, when they're kittens. Even though she was about 8 weeks old when we got her. But we're the only humans she knows. So she doesn't have to be leery, or she doesn't feel like she's in danger around human beings. Gosh, that sun feels so good. Had that video come out yesterday. I guess I need to watch it, right? See how yesterday's video came out. It's definitely like one arm's length away, and it looks like I'm 10 feet away from the camera. And I wonder if the camera's gonna get hot. Of course, I got a piece of cardboard I could put behind it. And there was something I was gonna talk about early this morning. What time is it, by the way? Been up since 12:30. So at 12:30 this afternoon, it's like if you get up at 6 in the morning, it's like 6 p.m. for me. You get up at 5 p.m. So it's like the end of your day, toward the end of your day at 12:30 for me. At 1 o'clock I start thinking about tying up loose ends. Today's garbage day. The garbage has got to go out. And Lord forbid, forget Thursday putting the garbage out. They've been coming by right at 6 in the morning. And we only get garbage pickup once a week here, which is really cruddy. And it's a good thing I haven't been spending money. Haven't been buying anything from Amazon or Goodwill or any of that. Oh, what a pretty day. Maybe one of these days I'll take a drive over to the beach and just go over there with the intent of just maybe taking some pictures, right? Or maybe some video. Maybe talking on the camera, the GoPro, while walking down the beach. That would be a nice, something nice to do. And I could get there early, on my time, while it's still chilly out. This is a perfect day, being out at the beach. That sun feels so good. In a minute, I'll try to remember what it was I was going to talk about. Not Uncle Joey. I just cannot remember what it was. But I thought to myself this morning, you know what? I bet you I could talk 2 hours on that or whatever. Maybe it had something to do with the Army. I think it did have, oh, I know what it was. Darn, I remembered. When I was in the Arabic language course, it was like 4 months, 3 or 4 months in duration. And it was nice because I didn't have to do physical training. Most mornings I did it anyway. Or a bunch of us got together and did it. We didn't have to meet for physical training. If we wanted to, we could. So there really wasn't many of us there. We were in our training cycle, which means everybody from the team was off to Fort Huachuca, Arizona for intelligence training. They started a Caribbean task force, so they were pulling special forces guys to go down to the Keys, and they would be stationed down there living in a barracks. It's like some sort of secret operation. Might have had something to do with Grenada. So I can't remember when exactly that came out. Might have been right after I got out. And that's what the idea of that was. They were anticipating a rescue mission or some sort of military action in Grenada, which, as you know, Clint Eastwood starred in that. Wasn't Hamburger Hill? What was it? Where they went to Grenada. And but anyway, I was in Arabic language course for 3 or 4 months. And the thing about jump pays, we made $120 extra a month jump pay. That's hazardous duty pay, just for being an airborne soldier. But one of the catches to keeping that is you have to make a jump at least once every 90 days. So normally our team would always have that scheduled with the company commander, or the sergeant major, somebody would have something scheduled for us to go out and make a jump. And I think this would have been, even though I was Halo qualified, maybe I wasn't Halo qualified, but I knew I had to have a jump. And I had a form that I had to have signed. And at Fort Bragg, every month or so, they had what was called a family fun day. And what it was is they would have 3 Chinook helicopters, you know, those big 2-bladed helicopters. And they would station them out at one of the drop zones, one of the big drop zones at Fort Bragg. And they would set up tents, refreshment stands. Families would come and have picnics, family barbecues and get-togethers. It was just for people to get their jump in, people that needed to get their jump in. A lot of them were administrative people. And they would bring out a semi-tractor trailer, like the ones they haul fruit in, which is just an open bed trailer with wood stake sides. You know, a 80-foot trailer that would, instead of having sand or whatever in it, it had parachutes in it. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of parachutes. You know, packed parachutes. So I went there. I can't remember if I was with somebody else, but we went there, and I got the jump master to sign my paper. And you stand in line, you sign your name for manifest. I think they can fit 30 or 40 troops on one of those helicopters at a time. And what they would do is one of them would take off, and it might make 5 return trips before it'd have to go refuel. So after 2 trips, the second helicopter would start loading people. So then you would have 2 helicopters making jumps, static line jumps. Then after the second one, the first helicopter would go to refuel, and only the second helicopter would be doing jumps. And then before it needed to go refuel, the third helicopter would come in, and then you would have 2 helicopters making jumps. The second one would have to go refuel, Then you would have the third helicopter loading for 2 jumps, and then by then the first helicopter would be on its way back after refueling. And these are Army helicopters, not Air Force, so it's Army people. So they always had 3 helicopters cycling in and out, loading people up to get rid of those thousands of parachutes. It must have been at least 1,000 parachutes on that truck. And I always wonder about the ones at the bottom of the stack were getting like smashed by all the weight of all the other parachutes. So you know, you sign up your name on the manifest at the table, and then you file past the truck, and you know they don't even ask for your certification to be as an airborne trooper. I mean, anybody could go up there and do this. So you would get in line, sign your paper on the manifest for this load in on the Chinook helicopter. You'd file past the semi, and they would hand, a guy in the back who's standing on all these parachutes would hand you a parachute, and you would take it over to the staging area, and you would put it on, and you had to have a helmet, and I'm trying to think of what else. I think that's all. Just a helmet, a long sleeve shirt maybe, and I don't even think you had to have pants. A lot of people were there in shorts. And you put on this parachute, and it was just so much fun to do it this way, because there was no equipment, there was no stress. And I want to say I made 2 or 3 jumps that day. Only needed 1. And you'd jump out and you'd land, and it was just a beautiful sunny day like it is today. And you'd wrap up your parachute and go back to an area where you hand the parachute. You know, there's a bag that comes along with every parachute that parachute gets stuffed in. They call them parachute bags. And that gets, when you put on your parachute, it goes underneath your strap, like right here in the chest, because the chest piece in the middle has a safety on it. If you pull the safety and just punch it, all of your straps just fall off of you. So you would put that under your straps, right under the chest where that pressure plate would be pushing on you, and then you'd click everything in, and after you would land, you would wrap up your parachute on your arms, and then you would stuff it in this bag with the harness, and then you would just carry the bag over your shoulders, because it had 2 big wide straps that would set over your shoulders almost like a backpack. And once I got back in, I went back in line, signed another manifest, and went through the line, picked up another parachute. It was just so much fun. And I guess you could make maybe 6 jumps a day if you wanted to. And you know, a lot of people were there with their families, having cookouts and making a family ordeal so your kids could see you jump. Your family could see you jumping out of a helicopter. And those were fun. The Chinook helicopters, those are the ones with the 2 big blades, because you were always jumping off the tailgate, which meant that you would just walk right out of the back of the helicopter. And there was no jumping, you just gently walk right off the back. And the parachute would open, they'd haul the straps back in, and you were on to the next one after you land. A lot of fun. Called a family fun jump, or family fun day, and it would be advertised in the airborne areas, you know, on a flyer, like at the post 7-Eleven. They weren't called 7-Elevens, they were just quick marts that were owned by the Army, and a lot of them had like a beer cave in them where you could buy tons of beer, kind of like just the 7-Eleven. And they usually inside the 7-Elevens, they would have a hot food place for Tony's Pizza, where you could order a hot Tony's Pizza and stuff like that. And they were open 24 hours a day. So we would oftentimes at 2 in the morning, we would make a beer run and go there and pick up 2 or 3 cases of beer, and then have to carry it back to the barracks and go up like 2 flights of stairs. It was a lot of fun. I think that's the only time I had to do that to maintain my jump status. And it was worth it to keep getting that extra $120 a month. And I don't think Shirley ever went out there with us at all, because I always had to go someplace else. She was only there with me, what, 6 months? During that 6 months, I think I made 1 halo jump or 2 halo jumps, and that was early on. And then I got sent to the law enforcement training, and then after that, it was level 2 of Arabic language. It was the last class I had. And I couldn't get motivated to do well in that class. And when I went in for my interview at the end of the class, Mr. Mubarak, who was the head instructor, the guy that ran the Arabic language course, wanted to know why I didn't learn anything when I was there. And I said, well, you know, in 2 weeks I'm leaving. You know, I'm leaving the military in 2 weeks. I'm just not into it. I just couldn't get motivated to learn Arabic. If I had re-enlisted, it would have meant a lot, and I would have put everything I had into it. But you know, at that time too, it was the beginning of allergies. And I remember sitting in that Arabic class, looking out the window. We were in like a World War II barracks again. No air conditioning. It would have been April or March. April, and May. And I remember looking out the door of the Arabic class, and I would see these clouds of yellow pollen from the pine trees blowing off the pine trees, and my eyes hurt so bad. And that was when I first started rubbing my eyes and getting blisters on them from rubbing your eyes from pollen. But why up until then I had no allergies? I just turned 21 and got married. That's probably what it was. The stress of being married is what caused it. See if this camera overheats here in the sun. Maybe I'll give it my hat. Give my hat to my camera. There we go. My camera has my hat. Well, I soak up some vitamin D juice here from the sun. So that's one of the good memories I have of the military. And that was before Halo School. I think the Halo School was in the last year I was there. I have to look at my diploma. It should be in a glass frame in the living room somewhere in a bin. I had them on the wall in the apartment. And the city stuff I had was made out of wood, the plaque, city plaque, and termites ate that up. I don't think I threw it out, but I had to seal it up because it was full of termites. Yeah, those termites in that trailer got into anything that was wood. At one time I did see a hole in one of these church kneelers, but I dug through it, couldn't find where they had actually penetrated deep enough to start a nest. So when I moved the church kneelers over here from the apartments, I made sure there was no termites in them. You know, and if there were, I would have termites now inside my house. And once you get them inside, it's like good luck getting rid of them. You'd have to fumigate your house with a tent. And the only wood in my house is along the exterior walls where they put these little furring strips so they can put drywall on. And then of course in the attic it has rafters. But from what I understand, it gets up to 140 degrees plus in the attic. And that keeps the termites out of the attic because they can't stand that heat. And the wood is just baking up there. Isn't it amazing that wood just doesn't start on fire? And I guess most houses, even concrete ones that have, nowadays they're making the framing out of metal. They use those metal 2x4s inside. But still, when they put your roof on, it has to be made out of wood products. I don't think there's an alternative for that. They still use wood rafters and trusses. You know, when they built the apartments for the college, I used to live in the middle of the night going in there. They were 3 or 4 stories tall, and it was all wood, every single floor. And I just thought, man, how easy it's going to be for a high wind to tear that down, termites are going to get into it. It's like in 30 years they'll have to tear it down. Yeah, I don't know. It was cheap. And they're the type of apartments you see going up all over the place. It wasn't just there. It's the same style that you could order from any construction company that goes through a certain architect. We have 2 or 3 of them around here, 3-story apartments that look just like the ones they built there. But all wood. Every bit of it's wood. Isn't that crazy? If you get any drips out of, or any leaks in the roof, you're going to end up with wood rot. But yeah, they had a lot of problems with the ones at the college. Not so much with the construction, but with things like plumbing, air conditioning, electrical, stuff like that. You know, they had a problem with the plumbing, with the washing machine, laundry area. You know how that does that dunk 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 dunk. It was jamming on the pipes real bad, so they had to put these weird monstrosity in the laundry area with these tanks that are supposed to buffer that, which is what I need. Eventually we'll have to be replumbed in here. Guess that's it for today, guys. I just thought I'd share that. Thank God for letting me remember what it was I wanted to talk about. Why I just for some reason thought about that. Fort Bragg fun jump days. Family fun jumps. And a way to keep your airborne status active so you can get that $120 a month. And back then it made a big difference because my pay was only $700 a month. I think when I left there, because I got separate rations and separate quarters because I was married, I was making $1,200 a month. So about $600 every 2 weeks. And that paid, with that I had to pay rent, off base utilities and all that, because they just did not have enough housing on base for every single person that lived there. So they would pay you a stipend every month. Didn't cover your full rent, but they would pay you if you were married to live off base. Of course now this isn't going to come out because, no it didn't, I would have seen it. That's about all I got for today. It's nice to get outside. Thanks for spending time with me. It really means a lot that you spend this time with me out here. In the time that we have left, whoever knows how long, only God, right? For any of us. I worry about everyone. Till the day I pass on, and there's some, I would worry about every single one of you. And time is precious. You don't think about it when you're younger. Someday, if you're fortunate you live to be at least 50, then you'll start realizing how fast time is going by. This last 15 years, it's been like 6 months to me. Well, my lips are getting sunburned. I didn't put any chapstick on, but it sure does feel good. I'm starting to perspire. I love you guys. God loves you. Together and forever we always will. May God allow us to be reasonably happy in this life and in this world. May He protect us from the evil one and be with us at the hour of our greatest temptation. And may we be truly happy with God forever in the next life. Amen. I love you guys. Thanks for being here with me again. And with God's blessing and help, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Should be about the same type of weather tomorrow.